Ryan laughed right in my face when he saw me in the parking lot. Natalie still single? Come on, a single mom needs a man. His girlfriend, Amanda, gave that little laugh. You know, the kind that pretends to be polite, but is meant for everyone to hear. He had no idea. None at all. That random encounter was about to change everything. And in 72 hours, 3 days to be exact, he would be in my office, begging. But I didn't know that yet. Not that Saturday afternoon. It was 3 o'clock on a Saturday, and I was driving back from a meeting downtown. A good one, actually. We just closed a deal I'd been chasing for 2 months. I had that light, satisfied feeling. You know, like mission accomplished. White blouse, black pants, comfortable flats. Nothing flashy. The only thing that maybe said something about me was the leather business case in my hand, but even that was understated. I was never the type to show off. Never needed to. The mall parking lot was that kind of place where everyone pretends not to watch each other but totally does. Luxury cars, people with designer shopping bags, sunlight pouring through the glass roof. Westfield, the usual. I'd only stopped by to grab a birthday gift for my son, Michael. He's 8. He wanted a specific video game that was only sold at that store. That's when I saw Ryan. He was leaning against a silver sedan, the kind corporate guys love, talking to a blonde woman in a tight dress and high heels. Amanda. I'd seen her on his Instagram, because yes, I still checked sometimes. Not out of longing, more like morbid curiosity. She had around 50,000 followers, did those influencer dance videos, gym selfies, all that. Ryan looked perfectly at ease. Sunglasses, polo shirt. That watch I knew cost about $3,000 because he always liked to brag about prices. I thought about dodging him, walking straight to the elevator and pretending I hadn't seen him, but Ryan spotted me first. Natalie? He pulled off his sunglasses, all dramatic. Wow, how long has it been? 3 years. 3 years, 2 months, and about 15 days, if I wanted to be precise. Since we signed the divorce papers. Since he said I wouldn't make it on my own. That I needed him to survive. That I dreamed too big and wasn't practical enough. Hi, Ryan. I kept walking. Didn't stop. He followed me. Amanda too, her heels clicking against the concrete floor. This is Amanda, he said, as if I didn't already know. Babe, this is Natalie, my ex-wife. Amanda smiled. That kind of smile. You know it. Polite, but also scanning you up and down. Nice to meet you, I said. Simple. Flat. Ryan put a hand on her shoulder, possessive, then looked back at me. So, Nat, how have you been? Managing okay? Managing. Like my life was some burden I was barely dragging along. I'm good, I said. Working, you know. He smiled. That smile I knew too well. The one that said he thought he was better than you. Still in that 2-bedroom apartment? My stomach tightened. Not from shame, from contained anger. There were people around. An elderly couple getting into their car nearby. A valet walking by with keys in hand. Everyone listening without looking. Still there, I said. Amanda gave a little laugh. How cute. Must be cozy. Ryan kept going. We're closing on a condo. Downtown. Penthouse level. 1.2 mil. 3 bedrooms. Balcony with a grill, all that. He said it looking right at me, like laying down a winning card. I gripped the handle of my case a little tighter. Nice, I said. Congratulations. He works for a multinational. Always has. Some high-ranking manager position. I never bothered to remember the title. Makes good money. Always did. And always made sure everyone knew it. And you? He tilted his head. What have you been up to? Still trying those business things? those business things, like it was a child's hobby. I breathed in. I work in consulting, I said. Amanda's eyes widened like she was in a soap opera. Consulting? Like selling from catalogs? Ryan laughed, loud. And the worst part? He knew people could hear. His laugh echoed through the parking lot as he went on. No, seriously, Nat. What are you really doing? Because consulting is a pretty broad term, right? He crossed his arms and leaned against the car. Amanda stayed beside him, his personal audience. I could still feel the valet's eyes on us. The old couple hadn't driven off yet. Everyone waiting to see what would happen. Or maybe I was just paranoid. Who knows? Business consulting, I said. Short, direct. Because I didn't owe him an explanation. Not anymore. Ryan tilted his head again, with that face that says he's thinking, but already sure of his conclusion. Like what? Helping small companies organize spreadsheets? Stuff like that? He said it with a smirk. Not open cruelty, worse, condescension. That tone that sounds almost generous just because he's pretending to care. Amanda jumped in again, her voice sharp and nasal. Oh, yeah, everyone does consulting nowadays, right? My cousin's an image consultant. My friend does closet consulting. It's like fake entrepreneurship. She giggled and looked at Ryan, waiting for approval. He chuckled along. I squeezed the handle of my case, felt the leather warm up under my palm, took a deep breath. Once, twice. Counted to 3 in my head because if I spoke right then, it would come out wrong. It would come out angry, and I wasn't giving him that satisfaction. Ryan went on. Come on, Nat, admit it. You never had the head for business. Remember when you tried to sell those mason jar cakes? You made, 10 of them? Filled the fridge and I ended up eating them all because no one bought any. He laughed again, louder. And I remembered the scene. Because it was true. It had happened. 7 years ago, I tried selling jar cakes to make extra cash. Posted in Michael's school moms group. Sold 3. The rest went bad in the fridge. Ryan complained for a week. Said I was delusional. That I didn't know how to calculate costs. That I was good at dreaming, but terrible at execution. And maybe, back then, he was right. Amanda giggled again. Aw, that's tough. The dessert market's really competitive, she said, like she was teaching a class, like I needed her opinion. I didn't answer, just looked at Ryan. And he noticed I was too quiet. He knew my silences. He always thought it meant weakness. That I stayed quiet because I had no argument. Because he was right. Look, he said, no offense, but I think you need to be more realistic. You've always been a bit of a dreamer, and that's fine, some people are. But real business, serious business, takes another kind of mind. He tapped his chest, like saying, mine. That's when he got the idea. I saw it in his face, that spark in his eyes, like a kid who just came up with a cruel game. You know what? Let's do this. He stepped away from the car, facing me now. Amanda widened her eyes, intrigued. If you really have a legit business, something serious, prove it. Show me. If it's real, if it actually makes money, I'll pay you 20 grand, just for doubting you. $20,000. He said it loud. The valet heard. The old couple was still there, window slightly open. Amanda chimed in, excited. But if it's another flop, like the mason jar cakes, you admit it, in front of everyone, that you never should have left the marriage, that you needed him. She smiled, like she'd just won something. Ryan nodded. Yeah, exactly, an honest test. I just want to make sure you're okay, Nat. Really. He said it in that fake concerned tone, the one I'd heard 1,000 times, throughout our entire marriage. I felt my blood rise, Not from embarrassment. From something else. A mix of outrage and a strange urge to laugh. Because he had no idea. None. When? I asked. That's all. He blinked, surprised. I think he expected me to run, to make excuses. What? When do you want this proof? He looked at Amanda. She shrugged, like, go ahead, your call. Monday, he said. 5 o'clock. I work at the WeWork in downtown LA, Suite 304. Show up with documents, contracts, whatever you've got. If it's real, I'll hand you the 20 grand on the spot. Promise. I looked at him. At the fancy watch. At Amanda's smug smile. At the parking lot and its invisible witnesses. And I smiled. Not a big one. Small. Controlled. The kind that leaves people unsure of what you're thinking. All right, I said. Monday, 5 o'clock. I'll be there. I picked up my case, turned around, and walked away. Amanda said something, didn't hear it. Ryan called my name. I didn't turn back. I stepped into the elevator, pressed the button, and as the doors closed, I leaned against the cold metal wall and took a breath. 72 hours. I got home around 6 in the evening. The apartment was quiet. That peaceful kind of Saturday quiet. Michael had spent the day with my mom, and when I called to say I'd pick him up, she told me he wanted to stay over. Let him be, honey. You'll see him in the morning. I agreed. I needed time. Time to think. Time to process what had just happened. I sat on the couch, still in my work clothes, the briefcase by my side, stared at the ceiling, and then I started laughing. Not a normal laugh, that nervous, half-crazed laugh that comes when you don't know if you want to cry or scream. $20,000. Ryan had bet 20 grand thinking I'd fail, thinking I was still that woman who baked cakes in jars and couldn't sell them. That woman he used to support. The one he controlled. The one he'd shrink every time I opened my mouth to say I wanted more. 3 years. 3 years on my own building something from scratch. Waking up at 5 in the morning. Studying while Michael slept. Taking on small clients in the beginning. People who paid $50 for a basic consultation. Meetings at coffee shops because I didn't have an office. Presentations on an old laptop that froze halfway through. And he had no idea. None. Because I never told him. Deep down, I didn't want him to know. Didn't want his opinions. Didn't want to hear again that I was too much of a dreamer and not practical enough. I wanted to build something that was mine. Sunday morning, I went to pick up Michael. He ran to me, backpack bouncing, huge grin on his face. Mom, Grandma made cake. He had chocolate crumbs at the corner of his mouth. I wiped them with my thumb. That's great, honey. You ate it all? He giggled. Almost. On the drive home, he kept talking about the cartoon he watched, his cousin calling, the video game he wanted for his birthday. I listened, but my mind was elsewhere, thinking about Monday, thinking about Ryan, thinking about what I'd bring. That afternoon, after Michael went to his room to play, I called Claire. She's my business partner. We met 4 years ago at a strategic management course. She's the type who doesn't talk much, but when she does, it hits straight to the point. Natalie, you okay? Her voice was calm. Always calm. I told her everything. The parking lot, Ryan, Amanda, the bet, the $20,000, the Monday deadline, 5 o'clock. Claire was silent for a few seconds. Then she laughed. So, you're gonna shove the truth in his face? I sighed. No, I'm just gonna present the facts. She laughed again. Natalie, that's the same thing. You know that, right? Maybe I did, maybe not. But deep down, I knew there was something I needed to do. And it wasn't about the $20,000. It wasn't even about Ryan. It was about me. To look in the mirror and know I'd never again let anyone make me feel small. Sunday night, I reviewed the documents. Main contract. Annual balance sheet. Certifications. Everything neatly organized in a physical binder. The old-fashioned kind with color dividers. Claire had suggested we bring Julian too. Julian's our corporate attorney. He's been working with us for about 8 months. Closed 3 major mergers in the last year. He's good, and he has presence. Tall, sharp suit, deep voice. If you want impact, Claire said, he'll help. I agreed. Monday morning, I woke up at 8, made coffee, drove Michael to school. He hugged me before getting out of the car. Mom, you look different. I smiled. Different how? He frowned. I don't know. Just different. I kissed his forehead. It's okay, love. Just an important day at work. He nodded and ran toward the gate. Back home, I showered. Picked my outfit carefully. Black tailored pants, white silk blouse, gray blazer, modest heels, hair up, light makeup. I wanted to look exactly like what I was, a professional businesswoman. I grabbed the binder. Looked at the kitchen wall clock. 8:45 a.m., 8 hours and 15 minutes to go until 5 o'clock. The clock had started ticking. 4:45 p.m. 15 minutes before the meeting. Claire, Julian, and I arrived together at the WeWork in downtown LA. The building was sleek, all glass, with a minimalist reception and young people walking around with headphones and laptops tucked under their arms. It smelled like expensive coffee and polished wood. The receptionist smiled, asked for our names, handed us visitor badges. Claire had a binder too, smaller than mine. Julian carried a heavy leather briefcase, one of those classic executive ones. He wore a navy suit, understated tie. He looked exactly like what he was, someone you don't want to face across a negotiation table. We took the elevator to the 3rd floor. Wide hallway, glass-walled offices on both sides. People in meetings, typing, talking on phones. A corporate, sterile environment. Everything very clean, very impersonal. We found Suite 304 at the end of the corridor. Frosted glass door. I could see silhouettes inside. I took a deep breath. Claire touched my arm. Ready? I nodded. It wasn't about being ready. It was just something I was going to do. I knocked 3 times, firmly. A man's voice answered from inside. Come in. I opened the door. Ryan was sitting in a swivel chair, turned away from the table. When he saw me, he slowly spun around, like a movie character. He had a smile on his face. That smile. Amanda stood beside him, phone in hand. She was wearing a pink dress, heels again, hair down. And there were others. 3 men. 2 seated, 1 leaning against the wall. Ryan's co-workers, I guessed. 1 older, arms crossed, another younger on his phone. The 3rd just observing. Well, Natalie, Ryan said, didn't think you'd actually show up. I walked in. Claire behind me. Julian last. Closed the door slowly. The click sounded loud in the silence. Ryan glanced at Claire, then at Julian, frowned. You brought people? I did, I said. This is Claire, my business partner, and this is Julian, our corporate lawyer. Amanda laughed, that same little laugh. A lawyer? Oh my God, you're taking this way too seriously. She looked at her phone. Let me record this. It's gonna make such great content. One of Ryan's co-workers, the younger one, stood up. Wait, is this really a bet or something? Ryan waved his hand, like it was nothing. Yeah, just a joke we made on Saturday. I just want to see if she actually runs a real business or if it's another story. Claire said nothing. Julian set the briefcase on the table carefully. The sound was solid, heavy. Everyone looked at him. Julian's 6'3", broad shoulders, the kind of presence that fills a room. He didn't say a word, just stood there, waiting. I stepped forward, placed my binder on the table, unzipped it slowly, pulled out a clear folder with dividers. Inside, a document, company letterhead, watermark logo. "Ryan," I said, "you wanted proof. Here's the contract." He took the paper, read the first line, frowned, read again. The smile started to fade. This is a consulting agreement." "It is," I said. He flipped the page, read more. "Strategic Link. That's your company?" "It is," I repeated. Amanda leaned closer. "Strategic Link? Never heard of it." Claire finally spoke, her voice calm, firm. "That's because you don't work in the corporate sector. Strategic Link serves mid to large-sized companies, digital transformation, process management, organizational restructuring." Ryan's older coworker raised an eyebrow. "Digital transformation?" He sounded mildly interested. Ryan was still holding the contract. "Okay, but everyone's got a consulting business these days." "What's your annual revenue? Because consulting can mean anything, from a few $100 a month to..." I cut him off. $750,000. Silence. Amanda stopped fiddling with her phone. The younger coworker's eyes widened. "What?" "Annual revenue," I said. $750,000. Verified, audited, certified. I can show you the report." Ryan blinked, like someone who'd just been slapped. You're serious?" Claire pulled another document from her folder and handed it to him. "Full financial statement. You can check." Ryan took it. His hands trembled slightly. He tried to hide it, but I saw. He read, rubbed his face, read again. The older coworker stepped closer, peering over his shoulder. "Wait," the man said. "Strategic Link? We work with them." Ryan turned. "What do you mean?" "Our company uses them. We've got an active contract. Digital transformation consulting." "Renewed, what, 2 weeks ago?" I smiled. "Just a little. 700,000. Quarterly renewal. You signed the paperwork last Tuesday, Ryan." He went pale. That can't be." Julian finally spoke, his deep voice deliberate. "It can, and it is. The contract was signed by Ryan Bennett, operations manager for the U.S. branch. Renewal dated October 23rd. I oversaw the negotiation." He opened his briefcase, pulled out a copy of the contract, and laid it on the table. "Here, your signature." Ryan picked up the paper, stared, swallowed hard. I never saw her name. The contract comes under the corporate entity. I just sign what they send." Claire crossed her arms. "Exactly. Because Natalie uses the corporate name, not her personal one. Brand positioning strategy. You signed the renewal. Didn't even read the reports, I'm guessing." The younger coworker laughed, half in disbelief. "Man, the reports from Strategic Link are solid. We've saved, what, 200 grand last quarter thanks to them?" Amanda tried to speak. But she never posted anything about it. No big LinkedIn. Nothing. How were we supposed to know? Claire turned toward her, eyes cold. "Serious professionals don't need to post selfies in rented cars." Amanda flinched, slipped her phone into her purse. I continued, because now I had momentum, and it was my turn to speak. "Ryan, you asked if it was a real business. Let me list it for you." I took a breath, focused. Certified Project Management Professional, Certified Scrum Master, MBA in Strategic Management from UCLA, completed last year. A full-time team of 12, 20 specialized freelancers we contract as needed. 47 companies served since launch. 94% client retention rate. With each fact, I could feel the air in the room change. The older coworker was looking at me differently now. The younger one had stopped checking his phone. Amanda was silent. I went on. We were finalists in the Women Entrepreneurs of America Awards 2024, Consulting and Technology category. Didn't win, but being in the top 10 was validation enough. Our office is in Santa Monica, not a co-working space. It's our own property, 500 square feet, paid in full. And 8 months ago, we received a $500,000 investment from a venture capital firm. They bought 15% equity, conducted a full due diligence, reviewed our cash flow, scalability, and growth potential, and approved. Ryan dropped the paper he was holding. It landed softly on the table. Julian added, I've closed 3 mergers in the past year. All of them involved strategic link at some stage, restructuring, due diligence, process integration. Natalie personally led 2 of them. The silence was deafening. I looked at Ryan, straight in the eye. And about that 2-bedroom apartment you mentioned on Saturday, I said. I bought it. Cash. $270,000. A year ago. Paid off. Deed in my name. I paused, took a breath. Michael's in a bilingual private school, full-time. Tuition's $800 a month. He takes swimming and martial arts as extracurriculars. And next month for his birthday, I'm taking him to Disney World. His first time. Flights, hotel, tickets, all paid. Amanda's mouth hung open. She didn't say a word. Ryan ran his hand through his hair. Tried to speak. Stopped. Tried again. You built all that? I did, I said, while you thought I was still selling jar cakes. The silence that followed was so heavy, I could hear the faint hum of the air conditioning. Footsteps in the hallway outside. Amanda's breathing, fast, uneven, like someone who'd just run. Ryan's older coworker scratched his beard, glanced at him, then at me. The younger one had put his phone down completely, just staring, like watching a movie he didn't want to end. The older man finally spoke. Strategic Link, I know that name. How long have we worked with you guys? Claire answered. 2.5 years. Started with an HR restructuring pilot, then expanded to financial process automation. He nodded, remembering. Yeah, that's right. You're the consulting firm that did the whole mapping. Saved us a fortune. We talked about it in a board meeting. He turned to Ryan. Dude, you signed that and didn't even notice? Ryan didn't answer. He just stared at the table. His hands were closed. Not fists, just closed, like holding something invisible he didn't want to lose. But there was nothing there. Just air. The younger coworker chuckled. Not mean, more like amazed. Man, this is wild. Your ex-wife owns the consulting firm we hired. It's like a movie plot. Amanda stepped forward, tried to smile, but it came out awkward. Okay, but Ryan's right about one thing. You never mentioned any of this. No posts, no pictures. How were we supposed to know? She looked at me, voice defensive, like trying to save something already sinking. Claire turned to her, and I saw that look. Claire has a way of looking that cuts. She doesn't need to yell, doesn't need insults. She just looks, and you feel it. Real professionals work behind the scenes, Claire said. We don't need Instagram stories to prove our revenue. We have contracts, clients, results, numbers, credibility. Amanda opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She looked at Ryan, silently asking for help. He didn't look back. Julian closed his briefcase slowly. The metal click echoed in the silence. Any further doubts about the legitimacy of the business? He asked, looking straight at Ryan. Ryan lifted his head, took a deep breath, rubbed his face. He looked smaller now, not physically, smaller inside, like something in him had shrunk. You hid this from me. And that's when I felt it. It wasn't anger. It was something calmer, colder. Absolute clarity. No, I said. I didn't hide anything. You never asked. You assumed. I paused, breathed. Ryan, during our entire marriage, how many times did you ask me what I really wanted to do? How many times did you actually listen when I talked about starting a business? How many times did you take me seriously? He didn't answer. I went on. Do you remember the day I showed you a business plan? I'd done the research, built a spreadsheet, set goals, and you read 2 pages and said, "Natalie, you're too much of a dreamer. This won't work. You're not cut out to be an entrepreneur." I saw his face change. He remembered. I knew he remembered. Do you remember when I wanted to take a management course? I found an online one that wouldn't interfere with Michael's schedule and was affordable. And you said, "What for? You don't need that. You've got me. I make good money. Relax." The older coworker coughed softly, uncomfortable. The younger one stared at the floor. "And do you remember?" I said. I felt my voice tremble a little, but I held it. "Do you remember the day we signed the divorce papers? We were at the notary. You signed, looked at me and said, 'You won't make it on your own. You'll see you needed me. A year, 2, tops. And you'll want to come back.'" Ryan shut his eyes. "I needed to prove it," I said. "But not to you. To myself. I needed to know if I could do it. If I really had what it takes. Or if you were right. If I was just a dreamer who couldn't execute anything." Amanda tried again. "That still doesn't change the fact that Ryan supported you during the marriage. You should at least acknowledge that." That's when I opened another divider in the binder. I pulled out a bank statement. Old, yellowed at the edges. 6 years ago. "Amanda," I said, "during the marriage, I paid 60% of the household bills." She blinked. "What?" I set the paper on the table. 60%. Rent, groceries, Michael's school, electricity, water, internet. I paid them. Ryan earned more than I did back then, almost double. But he spent his money on personal things, courses, clothes, the car, trips with friends, and I covered the rest. Julian took another document from his briefcase. "I have the receipts, all of them, in case there was ever a child support dispute or any legal question. Natalie hired me right after the divorce. We organized everything." The younger coworker muttered, "Man." The older coworker looked at Ryan. "Ryan, you always said you supported her, that you paid for everything." Ryan didn't answer. He just stared at the table. His ears were red, not from anger, from shame. Amanda folded her arms, said nothing else. I gathered the documents, put them back in the binder, closed the zipper slowly, picked up the handle, looked at Ryan one last time. "Ryan," I said, "you don't owe me $20,000. You don't owe me anything. I only came here to prove one thing, to myself, that I never needed your approval, that I never needed you to believe in me. I just needed to believe in myself. And it took time. A long time. But I did it." I turned to leave. Claire followed. Julian grabbed the briefcase. "Wait." Ryan's voice was low, almost a whisper. I stopped, didn't turn, just stopped. "Wait," he repeated. Louder now. I turned slowly. He was standing, hands in his pockets, face pale. "You win. You're right. I'll transfer the $20,000 today, before the day's over." I looked at him. "You don't have to. This wasn't about money." "It was," he said. "It was about you proving I was wrong, and you did. So I pay." A bet is a bet. I shook my head. Ryan, I don't want your money, he insisted. But there's something else. He glanced at his coworkers as if asking permission. They looked at each other and stepped out. Amanda hesitated. Ryan looked at her. You too. Amanda left. The door shut. It was just the three of us now. Me, Claire, and Julian on one side. Ryan on the other. He took a deep breath. The multinational is cutting external contracts. Internal crisis. Restructuring. Your contract, Strategic Links contract, is on the review list. My stomach tightened. 700,000 at risk, he said. I'm one of the managers who'll decide what stays and what goes. Claire stepped forward. And you're telling us this because? He looked at her, then at me. Because I can try to hold it. I can make the case. Speak to the results, the track record. I have a voice in the meeting. No guarantees, but I can try. I looked at him, trying to read him. You'd do that? As compensation, he said. I waited, thought it through, looked at Claire. She shrugged, like, your call. Would you do it out of guilt? I asked. Or because the work is good? Ryan hesitated. I've never read the reports. Natalie, I just signed whatever was sent. I didn't even know it was you. The older coworker who had left came back, knocked on the glass, walked in without waiting. Sorry to interrupt, but Ryan, Strategic Links reports are excellent. We always praise them. If you're not reading, you should. The work is solid. Ryan looked at him, then back at me. I don't need your charity, I said steady. If the contract gets cut, we have 46 other clients. We'll be fine. He nodded, slowly. I know. I wanted to try to fix it. Fix what? I asked. The contract? Or what you did to me? He didn't answer. I took a long breath, picked up the binder. Ryan, you were wrong. About a lot. During the marriage. After. Today. But I didn't come here to make you pay. I came to set myself free. And now I am. I turned to go. For real this time. Natalie. I stopped again. But I didn't turn. I was wrong, he said, his voice cracking. About everything. And I'm sorry. I stayed quiet for a few seconds. Then I spoke, still facing forward. I know. And I walked out. We left the room, and the hallway felt longer than when we'd arrived. Claire walked on my left, Julian a few steps behind. No one said a word. I held the binder with both hands now, pressed to my chest like a shield. My heart was racing, but it wasn't nerves. It was relief, the kind that comes when you finally set down a weight you've carried for far too long. We reached the elevator. I pressed the button. The arrow lit up. I heard footsteps behind me. Fast ones. Natalie. It was Ryan. Again. I turned. He'd run out of the room. His tie crooked, hair messed up from raking his hand through it 5 times in the last 10 minutes. I need to say something, he said, breathless. Claire crossed her arms. Julian stood still, just watching. Ryan, I've said everything I needed to say, I told him. Tired. Not angry. Just tired. I know. But it's about Michael. And I stopped. Because Michael was different. Michael had always been different. What about Michael? Ryan looked at the floor, then at me. I want to see him more. A lot more. I know I've been absent. I know I failed as a father. The missed visits, the weekends I canceled, the times I promised to pick him up and didn't. I know all of it. He took a deep breath, like someone about to dive. But I want to change that. For real. Not out of guilt. Not because you put me in my place today, but because I've lost so much time, and he's growing up, and I don't want to lose anymore. I looked at him, trying to see if it was real, trying to figure out whether this was just another empty promise, or if something truly had shifted. Ryan, you said that before, when we split. You said you'd be present, that you'd take him every week. It lasted a month. Then it became every other week. Then, when you could, and when you could, always came with excuses, meetings, trips, exhaustion. He nodded. I know, I failed. But this time, I mean it. Julian spoke, his voice low but firm. Natalie, you don't have to accept promises. You can demand action. I looked at Julian, then at Ryan. You want to see him more? I asked. Yes. Then you'll have to prove it, not to me, to Michael. I paused, choosing my words carefully. He's 8, Ryan. He understands when you make promises and don't keep them. He understands when you show up late. He understands when you're on your phone the whole time because your mind's on work. And he doesn't complain. Do you know why? Because he thinks that's how it's supposed to be. That dads are supposed to be distant, busy. And I don't want him growing up thinking love looks like that. Ryan swallowed hard. His eyes were wet. Not tears, but close. Give me a chance, he said. Please. Claire looked at me. Her face said it all. Your call, like always. I took a deep breath. All right, but on conditions. You don't discuss this with me. You discuss it with Michael. He has a voice. He always has. You just never listened. So you're going to sit with him. You'll ask what he wants. If he wants to see you more, when and how. And you'll respect what he says. You won't promise what you can't deliver. You won't build up hope just to break it again. Because if you do, Ryan, I swear I won't let you hurt him one more time. He nodded quickly. I promise. I'll do it right. And one more thing, I said. You're going to start therapy. He blinked. What? Therapy. You need it. That's not an insult. It's a fact. You have a pattern, Ryan. Control. Diminishing people. Always needing to be right. That's not healthy. Not for you. Not for Michael. So if you really want to change, you'll get professional help. Claire smiled slightly. Julian nodded, approving. Ryan was quiet for a few seconds, then nodded. Okay, I will. And about the 20,000, I said. You can transfer it. But I'm not spending it on myself. I'll use it for Michael's summer camp. He's been wanting to go. Always has. And you'll pick him up on the last day. 2 p.m. sharp. No excuses. No delays. Ryan took a deep breath. I'll be there. Then we have an agreement, I said. The elevator arrived. The doors slid open with a soft ding. I stepped in. Claire and Julian followed. Ryan stayed in the hallway, watching. Before the doors closed, he spoke again. Natalie. I held the door. What? You're incredible. You always were, and I was an idiot not to see it. I didn't respond. I just let go of the door. It closed slowly, and as the elevator descended, I felt something strange. Not happiness, not sadness, something like closure and relief. The kind you feel when you finally finish a long book. You miss it, but you also feel peace. Claire touched my shoulder. You okay? I am, I said. And it was true. Julian tucked the briefcase under his arm. You were perfect up there. Steady. Clear. Never lost your composure. Thank you, I said. Both of you, for being here. Claire smiled. Always. We stepped outside. The afternoon light was sharp. Downtown was busy. People walking, cars honking, life moving as usual. Everything kept going, as it always had. I pulled out my phone. There was a message from Michael. His teacher had sent a photo in the class group chat, Him at his judo lesson, holding a little medal. Participation. I smiled, replied with a heart emoji. And then I realized, for the first time in 3 years, I had nothing left to prove. 3 weeks later, I got an email from the corporation. Subject, contract renewal. I opened it with my heart pounding, read the first line, then the second. Then I exhaled. Strategic Link's contract had been renewed, not out of favor, not because of influence. On merit. The review committee had analyzed all external vendors and decided that essential services, the ones that truly generated savings and efficiency, would remain. We were on that list. Claire called 5 minutes later. "See?" she said, laughing. "We're good at what we do. We don't need protection." I laughed too, and she was right. That same week, Michael said something at dinner. We were eating spaghetti, simple meal, when he casually dropped it into conversation. "Mom, Dad's been talking to a doctor lady." I looked up. "A doctor? Is he sick?" Michael shook his head. "No, like, a talking doctor. He said it's to help him learn to be a better dad." I felt something in my chest, not sure what. Maybe hope, maybe surprise. "And how's that going?" I asked. Michael shrugged, stuffed more pasta into his mouth. He said it's hard, but he's doing it. I didn't say anything else, but I kept that close. 2 months later, Ryan showed up at Strategic Link. No appointment. The receptionist called. "Natalie, there's a Ryan here. Says he needs to see you." I went down. He was standing in the lobby, holding an envelope. Looked different, thinner, or maybe just more tired. "Hi," he said. "Hi," I replied. He handed me the envelope. The 20,000, I lost the bet, and a lot more than that. I took the envelope, opened it. A check, made out to me. $20,000. Exactly. "Thank you," I said. He shoved his hands into his pockets. "You're using it for Michael's camp, right? Like you said." I nodded. "Yes, and you'll pick him up the last day, if you still want to." He met my eyes. "Natalie, have I been showing up?" I tilted my head. "Have you?" He nodded. "Every visit, every 2 weeks, on time. I pick him up, take him to the park, we have lunch. Sometimes we just watch movies at home. But I'm there." I breathed. "Then yes, you can pick him up. January 15th, 2 p.m. The camp's in Lake Arrowhead. I'll send the address." Ryan smiled. Small, genuine. "Thank you." He turned to leave, stopped, turned back. "Natalie, I really am sorry. For everything." I nodded. "I know, and it's okay. We move on." 3 months later, Michael turned 9. A small birthday party, just family. My mom, my sister, a few cousins, and Ryan. He arrived on time. 3 o'clock sharp. Brought a gift. Not expensive. Thoughtful. A science kit, the kind for experiments. Michael loved it. Spent the whole afternoon mixing colorful liquids, making foamy reactions. Ryan sat on the floor with him, helped, read the instructions, laughed when things went wrong, tried again. I stood in the kitchen, arranging snacks, watching through the doorway. Father and son, connected. And I thought, maybe he really was trying. Claire arrived later that afternoon. Brought cake. We cut it. Sang. Michael blew out the candles. Then while he played with his cousins, Claire pulled me aside. "You see it? Ryan's different." I nodded. "I saw." She smiled. "You broke him just enough to rebuild him better." I shook my head. "No. He broke himself when he finally saw the truth. I just didn't let him break me too." And that was it. That afternoon in the parking lot, Ryan laughed because he thought I needed a man. He was right. But not just any man. I needed to become the woman who never has to prove herself to anyone again. And once you reach that point, the whole world notices, even the ones who swore you never would.